Hey everybody, welcome back to Is It a Buy, where we talk about stocks and try to determine if they are worth a buy or maybe a pass. My name is Corey. I just like to preface the video by saying I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just a guy who likes to talk about stocks, so please take what I say with a grain of salt, all right? Today, a little bit of a different video. We are going to be talking about my Webull setup, okay? And so this is in an effort to kind of create a little bit of different content that you guys really want to see on just on the channel. So if you have anything else that you want to see, please let me know in the comments, and I'll whichever one is the most popular, I'll be sure to make that kind of video. I know people want to see an options video. That is something that is in the works. I'm prepping for it, so make sure you stay tuned for that one. Okay, so let's get into my setup. So this is Webull version 4 for the desktop. I do have a link in the description if you do want to use it, and if you use my link that's in the description and you deposit $100, you get 2 free stocks. I get a free stock, and it's pretty cool. So anyways, let's talk about how I have it set up. So first things first is most of it is pretty much the default. There are a few things that I changed, and I just want people to be able to kind of follow along. So first things first, taking a look at the chart. So here you can see I have a few different indicators. I guess I'll start here at the bottom. So in order to turn on the extended hours, so like after hours and pre-market, all you have to do is click this and it turns it off, and then it turns it on. So super easy, but it's kind of tricky to find, so you just got to get used to it. And so I also have a few other indicators. So the RSI, the relative strength index, anything over 70 is overbought, anything under 30 is oversold. And so you can kind of see whenever it's undersold, it usually has a good little or oversold usually has a good little run. So indicator, I won't really get into all the indicators, what they mean, but I'll show you how I have these set up, and I will be going over kind of a day trading video at a later time. So I guess I'll just go over how I set it up. So this one is actually set up pretty simply. You just go down here, you go into the settings, and then there's going to be a bunch of different indicators you can have on here. And so what I do is I have the RSI turned on, and these are the default settings, okay? 6, 14, and 24. Another few things that I have set up on this chart up here. So on this setting up here, you can go ahead and click on the little settings cog, which looks kind of like a hexagon in here. And then what I do have turned on is the EMA and the MA. So EMA, I set it at 200. You don't really have to worry about these other ones. I just set the first one at 200. And then I have the other one, the MA, at 15. And here you can see the two lines we have. And just to give you the definition, MA being the 15 MA being 15-day moving average, 200 EMA being 200-day exponential moving average. Okay, and we'll get into what everything means at a later video. Now, over here to the side, this is the default up here. I do have the order book. I highly recommend it if you're doing day trading, or maybe if you're not even doing day trading. It's nice to see what kind of action is happening and on the buy and sell side. Another part that I have down here, this is all default over here, I believe. I do have the active this active tab right here, and if you want to change it, you can always add a widget, and you can have there's a bunch of default options in here, but you can also choose add a widget, and you can kind of grab these, and if you were to select one, you can kind of select the order book here, add widget, and it'll pop out. I'll show you that in just a second. But what's neat is if you hover, if you select one of these, you can see some of these animate, and you can see exactly what they do. But basically all you would have to do is hit this. Let's say you wanted this NOII, you can go ahead and do add widget, and then it's cool, it kind of pops out, and then you can kind of pin it wherever you want to pin it. It's super cool, and it's so easy to use. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and delete that one. And let's go ahead to the top bar. And again, some of these are default. Some of these I did move around. I'll show you why I have them the way I have them. And it's mostly because of the way whenever I'm looking at stocks during my stream or whatever time, it's how I kind of go through everything. So I have chart here, options. So now I don't normally look at the options whenever I'm looking at whenever I'm doing a small dive into a company, but I do like to start with the chart. I do like the options here, just so it's right next to it. Although I may look into moving the options on this side now that I think about it, but I'll leave it here for now. We do see the profile. It's fantastic. You can see everything in here, financials, institutional ownership, the news, and then analysts. And as a matter of fact, I'll show you how I move this, and it's so easy. I usually don't look at news whenever I'm doing a quick dive into it, so you can just scoot this over. So institution, analysts, and then news here. And then here you can see corporate actions if they do a dividend, and you can also see the dividend if you click this more tab, and there's more stats in here. Different releases, like if they did at 8K, 10K, stuff like that. If you want to make your own notes, so it's pretty cool. You can say at 183, Here you can put a little note, whatever you want to say, like I wish I would have bought the dip at 112, but hey, that's up to you. One of the things that I really like to see, and I don't know if it actually brings me any kind of value, but it's actually pretty cool to see, is the top gainers. So you can see this Ferguson FERG had a huge gain today of 173%, and it's nice to see just who's on here, who's to keep an eye out for. But I would be very careful not to chase these kinds of stocks, so a little disclaimer there. And as for the top losers, you can see who's here. Sometimes it is nice to go in here if you see somebody you recognize, you're like, holy smokes, these guys are oversold. Was there a negative news catalyst, or maybe is there a dip that I can buy into? And so sometimes it's really nice to see these if they are oversold here. Okay, and so that's what I have here, and I think that's basically what I have. That's my whole setup. It's pretty simple. You can have different kind of views here if you want to see your position stocks, your watch list. It's super easy to add something to the watch list. You can just click this little star and you can follow and unfollow it. Another thing I really like that not too many people use, but I use, are the alerts. So I can see here, hey, if the price goes below 200, send me an alert. Below 130, so I can buy the dip essentially. And you can choose once per day, once per minute, unlimited. I would be very careful with the unlimited. I used to do unlimited, and whenever it was going from like 200 to 199, and it did that for an entire day, I was getting notifications the entire day. It did not let up, and it was very annoying. So I set it to once per minute. And on certain days, if it's whenever it was around that 200 range going up and down, I completely deleted it, and you can just delete it here. Super cool things. I mean, you can set if there's a news, if there's sharp rise. Very, very, very robust. It's such a cool platform. A lot of things that I'm even still learning about it. So, but I really, 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 really enjoy it a whole lot. Okay, and that's what I have. I just wanted to show you guys how I have this set up. I hope you liked the video. If you guys are interested, like I said, I do have a link in the description. No pressure. If you sign up for Webull and you don't use my link, no problem. But you would be missing out on those 2 free stocks, I suppose. But hey, no problem at all. And that's what I have. Thank you all for taking the time to watch the video. If you like the content, consider subscribing and maybe even a like. All right. Thank you again. Have a great night. Peace.